I hear it all the time. That song doesn't translate well to the piano. The guitar is too important. Well, I'm here to tell you that I disagree, and this is one of many videos that I've made and will continue to make to try and prove to you that I'm right, that the piano is a great instrument to play any song on. You just have to honor what the piano has to offer. So let's change the screen so that you can see my hands and dive in to this week's song. I'm Piano Man Steve Lungrin, founder of the Piano Man Approach online piano course, and thank you very much for joining me. If you like this kind of material, I'd sure appreciate it if you'd give this video a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please leave a comment down there. Let me know what you think, what you might have questions about, and if there's anything you want me to teach in the future, I'm always happy to get feedback, okay? And also, please share this with anyone who might benefit from it. So what we're going to look at today is a song by Genesis, an 80s hit that they had called Throwing It All Away. Now, this is not like a massive, like, Guitar Hero song by any stretch, but it's the kind of song I hear people say all the time, I don't know, there's something about that just doesn't work on piano. And it's because they get psyched out by the fact that there's this really cool piano, this guitar part on here. So let's see what's going on with this song. All right, what's going on is you've got a drum machine and live drums, because Genesis usually mixed the two under Phil Collins' stewardship. And then you have a bass guitar, and then you have a keyboard pad going on that's kind of like, oh, oh. Okay, and that's what's actually moving through the chord changes. And then you've got this cool guitar thing going on that adds a lot of pace to it, and it's going something like this. And it is cool. And they're playing that, and it just kind of works underneath the chord changes, and that's great. But people hear that, and they're like, oh, man, I don't know how to, without that, the song's missing something, and I don't know how to make it work. And what I see people do all the time on piano, that I understand why they do it, but this is something I'm trying to help piano players break the habit of. They try to copy what the guitar did. And you can't do that. They're not the same instrument. And you need to understand that if someone were putting this together on piano, they would never try to make that lick up in the first place, because it's an awkward, weird lick to try and play on piano. It works on guitar because of the way guitar is designed as an instrument. So we're never trying to copy what a guitar did. What we're going to do is figure out a way to do what the piano can do that has the essence of what was going on with the guitar. And that is the system hack that we're looking at this week with Throwing It All Away by Genesis. So we're in the key of D flat here. I think a good place to start is let's run this through my magic song learning formula, okay? It's called the glide formula. You can see it on your screen here. It's a 5-step process, and it's pretty straightforward. So you start by getting the chords. You can find those. Sometimes you can find them for free online with lyrics. Sometimes that's a little sketchy, and you have to buy them somewhere like Hal Leonard or somebody who does sheet music. But you're going to ignore the notes on the staff, and we're just going to look at the guitar chords. Okay, that's all we're going to be looking at. So we get the chords, we listen to the song, and as you're listening to the song, you have to then go to the next step, which is identify the feel. And the feel is what's the sort of essential rhythm pattern that we're going to use to approximate this sound. Because this is a multi-level recording, multi-layered recording with a lot of different things happening, and we're just one person sitting at a piano. So how do we capture that? The most important place to start is in the left hand, and you want to find a rhythm pattern that does a good job of kind of capturing the essence of the bass guitar and the drum kit. Okay? So I have 4 essential feels that make up about 90% of all popular music. One of them is called the basic feel, which is just quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Need I say I love you? Need I say I care? It kind of works. It's pretty choppy. That's not very satisfying, right? Okay, one of them's the country feel, which is like this. I'm pretty sure that's not going to work, but let's just try it for fun. Need I say I love you? Need I say I care? Might be fun if we were trying to do a parody of the song, but that's not going to work. One of them's called the waltz feel, which I think we can all comfortably say isn't going to work because this song clearly has got 4 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Need I say I love you? 4. Need I say I care? And the waltz feel has 3 beats per measure. So we know that's not going to work. So most likely this is going to be in the most popular of all of them, which is the syncopated feel, or as I call it, the heartbeat feel. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Okay? Thump, 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 thump. That's why we call it the heartbeat feel. And just for the sake of learning right now, we're just going to put quarter notes in the right hand over the top of it. Okay. Need I say I love you? Need I say I care? Need I say... Now, you see, we're already cooking with gas. Like, that feels 10 times more authentic right out of the gate than any of those other feels possibly could with this song, okay? So our chord progression is going to be D flat major, then it goes to a G flat major, then it goes to an E flat minor 7, and then it goes to an A flat major. And the whole time we're maintaining a D flat bass. So it's kind of weird that way. It doesn't the bass is not moving with the chords. It's kind of staying here. So it's D flat, G flat, E flat minor 7, A flat. Okay? So now we've kind of got our basic essential rhythm pattern down, right? Now, this is where the fun begins. So the next step, now we've identified the feel, is drill it down. Get the chord progression under your hands with just this simple rhythm pattern so that you're not having to overthink anything. All you're trying to do is get your hand used to moving through the chord progression that exists in this song so that you're not thrown off, because you got to get used to where you're going. And the biggest problem most people have is that they try to do too much all at once. And what ends up happening is that they're using too much brain power all at the same time. Like they haven't yet made it kind of an automatic thing to move through the chord progression. So then when they're trying to tweak the rhythm pattern, they have too many things to think about, and it's just constant mistakes. So just drill it down. Simple. So like this. You're comfortable with that, now we can sit back and think about the last step. That last step is enhance it. Enhance it with simple improv, but also enhance it with potentially different chord voicings, and also enhance it with variations on the rhythm pattern. Variations, okay? So here's where we start to have fun, because what we're going to do here is we're going to say, now that we kind of have the, kind of the main basic structure, what can we do to this rhythm pattern that will leave this in place, but add a little bit of the essence of what we hear that's unique about this song to it, right? Okay, because we're heading in the right direction, but this is a little vanilla. Now, if you're at a really, really beginner phase of playing, this might be all the farther you can go right now, and this is not a bad place to be, right? This is a good place to start. Need I say I love you? Need I say I care? Need I say our emotions, something we don't share? To be honest with you, that's like better than a lot of advanced piano players are going to make that song sound, because a lot of them have never been taught this stuff. So that's okay. If that's all the more that you're ready for, don't try to push yourself any farther. But if you are ready to make some variations, let's talk about it. So let's take that cool guitar part that we're hearing. Right? How do we bring some of that into this rhythm pattern? Right? Now, we're not going to do the whole thing. That would be too muddy. When you have multiple layers like they do, you can make space for it in the soundscape. There's like a lot of reasons why that works in their recording, but it wouldn't work in this. It would be too muddy, too busy. You wouldn't be able to maintain it, and you would lose your chord progression, okay? So what simple tweak can we make to either the left hand or the right hand that would give us a little bit of a hint of what that guitar player's doing, okay? Well, I think for right now, let's leave the left hand alone and see if there's something we could do to the right hand that would do that. And to me, can you hear that? That little extra syncopation. Bum, 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 bum. So let me play that really slow. Just watch the two hands together really, really slow. And when you play that at full speed, it kind of just gives you a hint of what the guitar player was doing. But you keep that beautiful chord progression moving through so you don't lose that, and it doesn't get messy and muddy and clunky. I say I love you? Need I say I care? Need I say our emotions, something we don't share? Da 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 da. Just that little bit of a hint. It's really, really amazing how a little hint can go a long way. Because compare the two. Without the little extra syncopation, with. See, the simplest little adjustment can pay such huge dividends on this. This is a game of inches. I absolutely love this kind of stuff. This is what I live for. If any of you ever watch my Sunday live streams, this is the process I go through in real time to honor requests when people ask for stuff that I haven't ever played before, but that I think I'm like familiar enough with this. I think I could guess what the chord progression is. And then in my head, I'm like trying to figure out, okay, what's the right chord, what's the right rhythm pattern, and how do I make some simple tweak that kind of fits this song and helps communicate the essence of that recording without asking myself to be a different instrument and to have more hands or more fingers than I do, and to not create a big, messy, clunky, cacophony, right? And that's kind of the fun of playing this instrument. I don't think there's another instrument on the earth. The next closest by far would be acoustic guitar, but I don't think there's, in terms of the total versatility of what's available to you, this thing eats the acoustic guitar's lunch for that. So it's amazing. You're so fortunate that this is the instrument that you're enjoying and that you're playing on, because nothing has this many octaves and this many different ways to deliver things. I love this instrument so much for that reason. And so now, as you get more and more advanced, you can take that same idea and you can maybe do it a little more nuanced in the form of maybe doing some toggling. And when I say toggle, what I mean is you're on a chord and you're playing the top of the chord with the top of your hand and then toggling to the thumb. So your extra syncopation could be like, now, again, this is not necessary. Don't do this, and don't try to do this if it's frustrating you because it's just like above your level to the point where it's stressing you out. Like you're really going to sound good even if you don't even add a little extra syncopation in, even if it's just the straight quarter notes. You've done 90% of the work just by finding the right left-hand rhythm pattern, just by landing on. You have already done 90% more than 90% of piano players will, because most piano players were never taught this. And it's not like a conspiracy. It's just this isn't what piano teachers are taught to teach, unfortunately. And so we don't go out into the world after traditional lessons armed with this information, and yet these very simple concepts allow you to do the most effective possible rendering of all the songs that you love. All of these amazing popular songs that probably are the reason why you love music and why you got into wanting to play piano in the first place. And so that's what I love. 90% of the work is done at the very fundamental level. And then it's just a matter of gaining nuance as you get better, as your hand independence gets better and more sophisticated. Then you can try things, and it allows you to have a lifetime of watching the song turn into something cooler and cooler and cooler and cooler. But you do not have to be at a really high level of playing to render a very effective version of a song like this. Because, as I say, the trick is finding the right rhythm pattern. Okay? Just for the fun of it, I'm going to show how you can then maybe do something in the left hand a little bit. I'm just adding a little extra syncopation in the left hand. Bum, 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 bum. And I'm coming down on it only with my thumb, so. See? Ba, da, da, ba. It's almost a little bounce. Ba, ba. Need I say I love you? Need I say I can? Now, again, that's pretty advanced. Not so much that it's like the most complicated thing in the world, but it requires kind of an advanced level of hand coordination, hand independence. But the thing about that is people ask me, well, how do I get hand independence? You master hand independence at lower levels. You master hand independence doing this. Then when that is so rock solid that you can't mess it up very easily, then you master it by adding one tweak, and you get that down. Every time you do that, your brain teaches itself how to operate your hands a little more independently from each other. There are still things that I don't have good hand independence for, but I get better every day at it, and it's because I work myself to the next level. I don't try to jump way beyond where I'm at. I just pick up something that I haven't done before, and I work with that, and then it goes along. Now, I could show you, and I'm not going to take the time in this video to do it, I could show you all of these principles apply if you want to play the melody in the right hand as well, and I've got a whole course on playing melody in the right hand. But it all starts by understanding how to create these accompaniment versions, because that's a foundation that you lay the melody in on top of. The melody is the last step in the process, not the first. So I don't want to make this into an hour-long YouTube video, but that's also something that's very possible, and as you can see, it would work to go. Okay, so these principles work whether you want to play the melody in the right hand or whether you want to sing or accompany a singer. There's just a little bit of nuance in the execution, and I go through all of that in my courses. So if you want to learn more about that, check out pianomanapproach.com. But mostly what I hope is that this has given you something you can work with right away. And even more important than that is that I hope it's changing your paradigm, how you view what's possible on the piano, how to approach playing the piano, and maybe learn that, in fact, it is simpler than it appears. I think we make way too much work out of this. So the idea is learn what the important stuff to focus on is, and don't waste your time on a lot of complicated minutia that isn't actually all that relevant or important to what you're trying to do. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here for now, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it's causing you to start to rethink how you approach the piano a little bit, especially in a way that makes you feel like more things are possible, because so much is possible on this amazing instrument. Remember, if you're not having fun when you're making music, you're doing it wrong. I'm Piano Man Steve, and I will catch you on the next video. Ta-ta for now.